What's going on, guys? This is episode number 3. We are the Ghost Gabbers. I am Joe.
I'm Jason.
And we want to welcome you guys back. We're going over paranormal talk in regards to the tools of the trade of what we like to use.
Right.
Or what we currently have.
Everybody has different preferences of different tools, different techniques.
Yep.
And we are open to all of them.
Yep.
So
one's going to work for one.
Right.
One's not going to work for one. We want to use what we think will get the best evidence or that we think that are going to work for us. In today's little episode, what we're going to be going over are
miscellaneous items.
Your miscellaneous,
we went over cameras, we went over EMF detectors, we went over audio devices. Now these are things that some of them are going to be like, we got other stuff on the way too. So. But some of them are going to be fancy items that don't work, and some of them are going to be what are called trigger items in the field, which are items that a spirit may recognize, such as a toy for a child. And we got one right here. Let's go right into that.
Let's go straight into
that. This little guy right here.
It's a voice box.
Yeah.
Music box. I'm sorry, not a
box.
voice box.
Am I going the wrong way?
Going the wrong way. So, it sounds creepy.
Right. So the theory behind that is that if you have somebody that is from a certain period that knows that song, or a child, that you would try to get them to use their energy to move the crank and get the music playing, because it's something that they're going to recognize. And we'll go into the different kinds of hauntings a little bit in another episode, but this would probably go more with a residual. No, actually, I think intelligent. Yeah, it's going to be intelligent because it's going to be able to move it.
And you want a very specific answer to it.
Right.
So within this, you have two different elements that you're dealing with. One, it's man-powered. It's not battery-operated. So if you automatically get a trigger, you know that it's not an electrical malfunction. Something is trying to manipulate it. As you saw how Jason was going over, it didn't do anything going backwards, but once you start going forward, you start getting that to play. The song itself, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, is still an older song, which could be something built from the time period. And because it's more man-powered, you're dealing with something that the older toys you dealt with. There were no electronic toys. There's no Transformers that you just say, Autobots, transform, and it just does it by itself.
Right.
I saw a video on that the other day. Pretty cool. So within these things, man-powered stuff, older toys, trinkets, trigger item for multiple people.
And that's what we'll get into that a little bit more in that episode too, but that will go along the research of where you're going, what you might want to take. Exactly. Now, if anybody out there knows what these guys are.
Originally used to find water. Not anymore.
Well, no, I think they still do in certain areas.
Not us.
Well.
I'm not looking for water.
He's looking for coffee.
So what we're dealing with now are the Dowsing Rods. These are made of copper. These also Amazon. I got these with a pendulum. We don't have it on display right now, but the theory behind this are if you have an energy that is willing to communicate, you ask questions. Mainly when you're asking questions within EVPs, you're trying to get audios, or you're trying to get a trigger item to try and get something. What you're dealing with is it's supposed to manipulate how it's going to be doing it.
As you see, I'm holding my hands perfectly still, and there's no way for me to move it unless I did that.
If you force it,
a slight move.
You very slightly tilt your hand down, it's automatically going to shoot.
Right.
Keep your hands completely still when you're doing it. Keep your elbows tucked in, and as you're asking your questions, you want to keep them close together. Usually, yes or no questions. Are you a boy? If open for
I'm making this do it right now, but you want to try to get them to cross it
for yes
and uncross it for no.
Exactly. Keep it very simple, because if you say what year are we in, or what's your favorite TV show, you're not going to get a response from a dowsing rod.
Right. And the thing about these being copper conducts electricity, which anybody that is into this knows that is a main component for spirits to try to communicate. Thus, all these devices, they drain the batteries at times. We haven't had that yet, but we're open for it.
Exactly. One instance that we had with the dowsing rods was on the Queen Mary, and I can literally feel the pressure of those things moving when we were asking questions.
We both had some amazing results on that.
So when we're dealing with these things, like I said, you ask yes or no questions. If they cross, it's manipulation, and it's up to your perception on what you think.
Once again, I'm telling you, it's paranormal.
It's just weird.
Just weird.
But the fact that if it's you doing it as I did it, it was a personal experience for me. He saw what was going on, but he didn't witness what was going on. So by holding it, you can feel the pressure of them being forced open. And then to even try something different, you leave them closed, and you ask another question to see if they'll open it. And I felt the pressure opening them back up. So in those cases, again, a personal experience. But they work. Pendulum, same theory. Yes or no questions. Rotate in a counterclockwise direction would be a no response. Clockwise would be a yes. Try and make sure that you have something steady. Your hand, if you drink too much coffee, a little bit too much to drink yesterday, you have to make sure that you have a steady hand, or what we're going to be looking into on one of our next tools for miscellaneous is something that's going to hold the pendulum. We make sure it's steady, set up a camera so we can see it. We ask questions and see if we can get it to either rotate or just to swing back and forth. Different methods.
Right.
As we're going over other things, another paranormal fun little toy, thermal imaging. So within this, we have what I love to call predator vision. We get to seek out heat anomalies. So if there's a steady base of everything, you're looking at it, it's all blue. It'll let you know within the blue what temperature it's at. When you start getting to a yellow, a green, orange, or red, it starts letting you know that these heat temperature or these heat senses are something else. Anomaly, or it's just my handprint that's left somewhere. And guess what? It stays there for at least about, I think I gauged it about 20 to 30 seconds.
We could walk outside right now and there's some rocks outside that are going to pop bright red because they've absorbed the heat from all day. And if we went back there at night, they're probably still going to be red because they've absorbed that heat.
Yeah. So within these things, where do you want to use them? Usually in places that are going to be a little bit colder.
And indoors you're going to have better results indoors.
Yeah.
Right.
And another thing about this is you can actually change if you don't want predator vision, or if you actually saw one of the Predator movies. He changed how he was seeing his thermal, and he even went to a black and white. So you can see the darkness of the motion taking place within everything else. So the darkness would be more so the hottest, and the brightness, the white, the gray, however you want to consider it, would be the substance that just sits there and does nothing. So within that motion, you can change in multiple different colors. I like the predator vision. It's pretty cool.
Now with this one, this is a simpler one and least expensive one.
Co-signing on a budget.
Yes. There's a brand called FLIR that is amazing, has an amazing products.
Sponsor.
FLIR, hit us up. Also very high-end price. But if you can afford it, get it. For us, like we said, budget, simple, this works for us.
Exactly. One of the things about these, what you want to try and get is something that has real time. So as you're recording, it'll stay with you the entire time. There's going to be a small delay because you can't come from here, and even with a normal camera, you're not going to get everything going. You're going to see a small glare. Within these things, there's a small delay, so you have to kind of scan across to make sure that you're getting everything you want to pick up. This particular one, little red button right here, we're dealing with still images. So I can take a picture if I see something that looks weird, and I can save that onto the under this little tab here. I'm gonna try and open it up. Opposite direction. Micro SD card right here, and it takes up to it comes with this particular one.
SD cards are your friend.
They are.
Miscellaneous. Anytime you have a device that uses an SD card, after each investigation, make sure you take all that evidence and put it on a laptop, the cloud, a hard computer, anything like that, and
get ready for the next one.
Clear out your SD card, and so that way you're ready for the next one. Absolutely. So because you don't want to go into an investigation with an SD card that's full or mostly full, and you're only going to be able to record for like 5 minutes.
Yep.
Just a waste of time. Another thing along those lines, charge everything before you go.
Absolutely.
Make sure everything's charged.
Everything has to be charged, and some of the other things are going to help you out in the field.
This light, separate charge than this camera.
Yep. Everything.
Right.
Make sure you have separate charges. Also, within your cameras, these cameras have additional batteries.
Right.
Your
or if you
action cameras, extra batteries.
If you have devices that take batteries, look at this device right here we're going to talk about in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you take extra batteries for those devices.
Another thing that we also do is we bought an external power dock. So you can charge your devices using that while you're still recording.
Because most devices charge USB these days.
Absolutely.
So those are crucial too. Now, this device. This device is...
You're right with it.
No. It is, if you can see behind us, I don't know.
A little closer. I can somewhat see it. Looks a little green.
Yeah, it looks a little green. It puts
out
out
spots. We call those. There you go.
It is a laser pointer grid.
Yep.
So what it does is it puts on the wall a grid of green dots. And what that is if you're in a room, a darkened room, obviously closed space, anything that walks in front of that, like a shadow figure, mist or whatever, is going to show up because it's going to block out those dots, those lights. So you can pick it up and don't have, this is a perfect tool for the setup where you put everything and walk out of the room.
And that's it.
Right.
So,
but what this one, particular one, you see it has a button to hold on. So what we found our little unicorn guy right here at the 99-cent store. Boom, he clamps on. You get it in the right position. It stays
that
on
sweet spot
the whole time that you're going.
Walk away, record. You set up your devices.
Which brings up a good point too, is anytime you buy a device, test it out before you go out into the field. Mm-hmm. So you know how it works, what it's capable of doing.
And on that note, you also want to make sure that if you're going to buy a camera, try and buy everything with it. So if you have a video camera, you want to make sure that the sound gets amplified, get an external mic.
Right.
You want to make sure that it can see in darkness. And if not, by itself, you want something else to work with it. Get an extra IR light.
Right.
Get something that's going to amplify that. Then on top of that,
extra battery. If it doesn't come with an extra battery,
get an extra battery.
The SD cards. Make sure you got the right SD card with the right type amount of memory.
And then, how high do you want your camera to sit, or are you always going to be holding it handheld?
Exactly.
You got your 99-cent store tripod. You can get another tripod at certain stores that are close to $200-300.
And
but if
you can also get like a $50 tripod that will come up about this high.
Yeah. So how do you want to set it up? Is completely up to you. Are you doing residentials? Are you going into businesses? It really depends on where you're going.
Exactly.
So on that note, we're looking at some of these extra things that we're looking at, the miscellaneous. As he made a statement earlier, we do. I'm waiting for a shipment. We have our SB7 Spirit Box. It's on its way. Within that one, it channels through AM and FM. For this particular unit, what we're doing is it channels up and down through the AM and FM stations at a high rate of speed. And what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to allow the spirits to try to either manipulate the words that are in there to try and speak, or it speaks through the white noise.
Because they are communicating on frequencies that we can't pick up with the naked ear. Hence the EVPs that come on the audio recordings. And that allows them to communicate in real time.
Exactly.
That is the theory behind that.
Yeah, theories.
So once again, everything we talk about is theory.
Yes. One of the last things I want to bring up, I'm also getting a flashlight with that. Maglite is probably one of the better known flashlights to do this. The flashlight experiment, where
many of you have seen plenty of video on that.
And if you guys don't know what the flashlight experiment is, we don't have a flashlight here to demonstrate, mainly because all the flashlights we have nowadays are all click. Mm-hmm. So when you click the button on, I took off the lens in the front, and the moment you take it off, the light stops working. With the Maglite, you turn it on and off by twisting. So by doing that, you turn it off just into a position where it's on, and then you turn it off, and it's at that mode. You set it down, make sure it's off, and you use that for an experiment to conduct and try and get a response.
What you're trying to do is get the spirit to use its energy to turn. What is that flashing red light?
Recording.
Oh, that's on the actual. Never mind. So what you're trying to do with the flashlight experiment is get the spirit to use its energy to twist the top of the flashlight to make it come on in direct response to your questions.
Yes, it has been seen on many different TV shows.
Right.
Also, it's been used in the field from other paranormal investigators who I've spoken to. These guys,
old school, simple.
Exactly. And I got a mag light that's on its way just for the experiment. I have flashlights that are a lot brighter than that, so I'm not even worried about it. I'm specifically getting it for this. The mag light is probably the only brand that does it. St. Augustine has a light that I'm getting with my SB7 that I ordered. I think it also does the twist as well. So within those, we're going to conduct more. Keep tuning into everything that we're doing, because as we're going over, I think I said dooning.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so keep checking in. See what you can gather from everything that we're talking about. If it makes sense to you, you want to do what we're doing, you guys are more than welcome.
Feedback is always welcome. Neither one of us could talk. Feedback is always welcome.
Always.
Negative feedback, we're not going to respond to it because it's just not necessary.
It's not.
But we're trying to help each other in this field.
Absolutely.
In life, just in general.
There's more than just one thing out there.
Right.
What we're trying to do within trying to conduct and get evidence is we're trying to find out if and when there's going to be something else that you just can't explain. Mm-hmm. You're not crazy.
Right.
There is another realm out there that we don't know about, and we're trying to see if we can tap into it. If there's somebody out there that wants to talk, we want to hear it.
Right.
Just
out of our own curiosity. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of other people out there that have that same curiosity.
Yeah, and we're going to be going over in the next couple episodes, we're going to talk about what actually got us involved into the paranormal, how long we've been interested in it, and it's going to be...
There's different belief systems on it.
Absolutely. Right.
So with that, reach out to us at, what is our... Gabbers
15 at gmail.com. If you guys have any inquiries, if you guys have any paranormal experiences, if you want to talk about it, and you feel that no one wants to listen because they're going to call you crazy, right. Trust me, we're paying our own money for this stuff. We're just as crazy as you are.
Just as crazy, right.
If not crazier. So we want to hear your story. Mm-hmm. You guys can check us out on our personal pages. Joseph Williams,
Jason Albee, both on Facebook
and Instagram. Check us out. We're going to be posting all these things up so everyone can see what's going on.
What's your TikTok thing you got?
My TikTok? Oh my gosh, I can't even.
We'll get it.
You'll find me somewhere.
We're going to talk about that a little bit too in another episode. So.
Absolutely. So on that note, we are the Ghost Gabbers. I am Joe.
I'm Jason.
And we will see you guys on the next one.
Gabbers out.